To all of you guys out there that think jazz music sucks, thinks it's boring, whatever, you guys are gravely mistaken, misled, and out of this world. Today I'm going to be talking about why jazz is insanely underrated. I would probably say the most underrated music form in every aspect of the word. And I'm going to convince you guys why you should be listening to jazz more, or if not, if you've never listened to it, to try listening to it. I think a good place to start this video is just going over what jazz music is. Because kind of when you think about jazz from someone that doesn't listen to it a lot, from that perspective, you probably don't really know exactly what jazz means. And kind of what the historical background of what jazz is, you know, it came up around the same time that blues music came up, and classical music had been big before that for hundreds of years. But the main point of what jazz is and what I want to communicate to you guys, and what is so underrated about it and impressive about jazz music, is that jazz is music that is improvised. So not the entire song is improvised. Some forms of jazz, that is the case, but the whole point is there are parts inside a song that people are straight up just making stuff up and making it sound really good. So the way I see jazz is any songs that have improvised parts in them. So it could be maybe like a drum solo in it, or maybe a guitar solo or a saxophone solo in it, or maybe there's a cool little piano part in it that was improvised. The song as a whole may not be jazz, like bass jazz, like how you think of jazz, like Olive Garden elevator music or whatever, you know, like the basic jazz that people think of. It can just have parts in it, and I would consider that somewhat jazz music. So that's super important to know. And I want you guys to realize that means that there are a bunch of different kinds of jazz music when you think of it in that sense. You've got kinds like classical jazz music. It's just anything that has improvised parts in it that are purposely improvised and are choreographed. They're structured that way. So what does this mean in regards to jazz music? Now, if you think about it, if you think about some of your favorite songs or whatever, maybe you think about some of the most complicated songs that you guys know. Maybe you're thinking of like classical music or metal music. I don't know where your head goes. But when you're thinking about some complicated music, you think about how intricate it is, and you think about just how much is going on, right? And what makes it so beautiful. Well, the thing about jazz is that these people are so good with their instruments, and they are so talented that they are able to do that same thing, except come up with it off the top of their head, almost in a genius-like way. And you can train that. So I would use the comparison like if you were going to watch a movie, right? A beautiful movie that you absolutely love, like one of your favorite movies, and then you watched a movie that was just as good, but the people that were in it improvised all of their lines. That's a whole, you see it from a whole different perspective, and you have a whole respect for it. It's completely different. Now, on the surface, you're just hearing the same music, but that background knowledge is so important, and I think that really ignites a perspective change in your brain where you're like, how the heck is this person doing this? How is this even possible? So that's what's so cool about it. Nonetheless, that jazz is just like the parts that are not improvised in jazz music. So like when you have the structure of the song, they're already incredibly difficult to play in most cases. And I want you guys to think about that when you're listening to jazz music. And I honestly want you guys to try listening to jazz music from that perspective. Think about it from this, right? People are literally making up parts. Like if you're listening to someone play a piano solo or a guitar solo in jazz, they are literally like, I wonder what I'm going to play. And they're thinking about it ahead of time. They haven't transcribed it. They haven't written it down. Not like regular rock music or metal or country. This is straight up made up. And that's so important to the genre. And it's so important to know going into listening to it. So I would encourage you guys to check out jazz. Now I am also a musician. Like, I play guitar, so I have the utmost respect for it. But again, I want you guys to know, like, I'm just talking about any parts inside of a song that are improvised. I consider that jazz music. So the way, basically, you can say, when I hear jazz, I just think of improvised music. I don't think of Olive Garden music. I just think improvised. So I would encourage everyone to go listen to jazz music. Go listen to like a jazz solo or improvised music, and you will gain a new understanding of like what people are actually thinking when they're playing their instruments. And it's amazing what people can really do. So that was the video for today, guys. Another episode of Things That Are Underrated. Please let me know what you guys think of this series. I believe this series has some of my higher viewed videos. So if you guys have any suggestions, or you want any suggestions on the channel, you have any ideas that you think would really resonate in this type of content or this community, that the people that watch this, please let me know. Like, I am just trying to provide some value. I'm trying to create a community here, and I'm also just trying to get better at communicating and just create a YouTube channel for you guys and document all of my thoughts and what I am going through in my life. So that is pretty much it, guys. I hope this resonated with you. If not, please go try listening to some jazz music and let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for listening, and peace out.